Welcome to the deep dive. We always aim to get straight to the core insights from complex material, and today we're tackling a market report showing one of the starkest paradoxes we've seen, the iGaming scene in Bangladesh. Now, our source material for this comes from the Gambling Databases research team. These folks are dedicated to providing really in-depth analysis of the global iGaming world. Yeah, in every country report, they look at, regulations, tax, player experience, what it's like for operators, new trends, the whole picture. Their goal is basically to give a clear, data-driven view of how gambling works in each specific market, what makes it tick. And what makes Bangladesh tick is, well, it's this huge disconnect. You look at the numbers, 175.7 million people. That's the eighth biggest country population-wise, and young. Median age just 26. Plus, they're digitizing fast, 70.1% smartphone ownership. I mean, that screams market potential, right?
It absolutely does. On paper, it looks incredible.
But, and this is the kicker, the core analysis rates at just 0.75 out of 10. And the title is basically a giant red flag. Critical warning, extremely hostile market.
Right. And that's the paradox we need to unpack, that potential you mentioned. It's massive, but it's completely crushed by a legal and, crucially, an enforcement environment that's become incredibly hostile, almost laser-focused. The potential actually fuels the risk here. It creates this huge demand that simply has zero legal outlet.
Okay.
So our mission today for you listening is to figure out why. Why is a country with all this demographic promise rated as fundamentally unworkable, even dangerous? Let's get into it, starting with the legal reality.
Uncompromising sounds about right. So where does the legal block come from? Is it old laws, new laws?
It's really both. First, you've got the cultural foundation. Bangladesh is overwhelmingly Muslim, about 89.1%, and gambling is strictly forbidden, haram. That's deeply ingrained.
Okay, so a strong cultural prohibition.
Definitely. And layered on top of that is the old colonial law, the Public Gambling Act of 1867.
1867, wow. That's ancient.
It is, and it bans basically everything except, horse race betting and some state lotteries. For ages, online operators might have looked at that and thought, well, 1867 doesn't say anything about the internet.
The classic loophole thinking.
Exactly. For a long time, it was sort of a gray area. If you got caught, the fine was tiny, maybe a few dollars, just, a cost of doing business in the shadows.
But something changed.
Oh, yes. This is where it gets really critical, and the market basically transformed almost overnight. The big change was the Cybersecurity Ordinance 2025.
2025. So
very recent.
Very. And this wasn't just tweaking the old law. This ordinance specifically targets online gambling. It makes creating, running, or even promoting online gambling platforms a serious crime. That gray area, gone.
Why the sudden jump, though? From an old, barely enforced law to this aggressive cyber ordinance. Was it just seeing how much mobile betting was taking off?
That's pretty much it. The old law just wasn't built for the digital age, right? And the penalties were no deterrent at all for international operations. The government needed real teeth, modern tools. And the 2025 ordinance gave them that.
It did. And crucially, it massively raised the stakes. We're not talking small fines anymore.
What are the new penalties?
Up to 2 years in prison. Plus fines up to 10 million taka, which is roughly $80,000 USD. And importantly, this applies not just to the operators, but also to promoters, affiliates, anyone involved in the chain.
Okay, so that's moved far beyond cost of doing business. That's serious personal risk.
Exactly. It's the cost of your freedom, potentially.
So, summing up this legal part for you, the listener.
Yeah.
The report makes it crystal clear. Zero legal gray area left. Zero licensed online operators exist. And absolutely no pathway for anyone, domestic or foreign, to get a license legally. The door isn't just closed, it's bolted shut.
Bolted, locked, and alarmed.
Right. But as we know, closing legal doors rarely makes demand vanish. Which brings us right back to that massive potential we mentioned, the thing that drives this huge underground market despite the iron fist.
You just can't ignore the numbers. 175.7 million people. That median age of 26, a huge cohort of young, tech-savvy potential users.
And the tech is there to support it, right? You said mobile first.
Absolutely. 4G coverage is basically everywhere, 100%. Overall, internet use is around 44.5%, which is still 77.7 million people online. But the key number is that 70.1% smartphone adoption. Access is widespread and easy.
And this demand is showing up in, well, illegal activity.
Massively, the source estimates, and it's a wide range, which shows how hard it is to track. But somewhere between 5 and 15 million Bangladeshis might be gambling online.
Even 5 million is a staggering number.
It is. And this isn't happening silently. It actually bubbled up into the courts. A high court petition in 2025 claimed around 5 million people were suffering from online gambling addiction.
Wow. Addiction on that scale suggests rapid growth.
Exactly. It points to really explosive growth in the underground market between, say, 2020 and 2024, which in turn probably forced the government's hand, leading to that 2025 ordinance we talked about.
And what are people betting on? What's popular?
Sports betting is king, particularly cricket. Cricket isn't just a sport there, it's a national obsession, almost like a religion itself.
So that cultural passion feeds the demand.
Absolutely. And that's the fascinating cultural context. You have this strong religious band, strong government action, but the underlying demand, driven by love for sport and easy digital access, creates this vacuum.
A vacuum that unlicensed foreign operators are happy to fill.
They rush in, yeah, relying on networks of local agents on the ground to handle the money, all operating illegally.
But you said that's become almost impossible now, especially since 2025. So let's get into the operational side. Why is market entry rated impossible? It sounds as active enforcement is choking things off.
Precisely. It's not just laws on paper, it's active suffocation, technologically, and most importantly, financially. Let's focus on the biggest barrier, payments. Because if you can't move money, nothing else matters.
Right. And in Bangladesh, you can't just rely on Visa or MasterCard like elsewhere, can you? It's all about mobile financial services, MFS.
Exactly. MFS dominates. Companies like bKash, Nagad, Rocket, they handle something like 80% or more of digital payments. Think of it like the country's PayPal or Venmo, but even more essential for daily life. That's the bloodstream of the digital economy.
And the government went right for the jugular there.
Directly. Bangladesh Bank, the central bank, ordered all financial institutions, banks, MFS providers to block any transactions related to gambling.
Okay, issuing an order is one thing, but enforcing it.
They didn't just issue the order, they went after the infrastructure. They're actively monitoring these MFS systems. And in 2025 alone, this active enforcement flagged over 1,000 MFS agents. These are the local people facilitating cash in, cash out for involvement in illegal gambling money flows.
Wait, hang on. Over 1,000 agents. So not just blocking the big operator accounts, but going after the individual corner store guys handling the cash on the street?
That's exactly it. They're using tech, probably AI and pattern analysis, to track suspicious money movement through the official MFS channels. They're cutting off the operator from the cash at the street level.
That's incredibly thorough. It really raises the question then, if those main payment channels are blocked and actively monitored down to the agent level, how can any operator realistically function? Where does the money move?
Great question. And the obvious alternative, cryptocurrency.
Let me guess, also illegal.
Explicitly illegal under existing financial regulations, so no easy digital workaround there either.
Okay, so payments are choked. What else? Tech enforcement.
Yep. The BTRC, that's the telecom regulator, is very active. They routinely block known gambling websites at the internet service provider level. Users have to resort to VPNs, which adds friction.
But website blocking is often a cat and mouse game, isn't it?
It can be, but the government seems determined. The High Court actually ordered a comprehensive report on this in May 2025, looking for ways to make blocking more systematic, more permanent. They're not giving up.
And they're also tackling the demand side, going after advertising.
Total suppression there, too. Gambling ads are banned everywhere, TV, print, online. And they enforce it. There have been high-profile scandals involving celebrities promoting betting sites.
I think I remember something about a cricket star.
Yeah, Shakib Al Hassan, a huge name in cricket. He faced investigation and a lot of public heat for endorsing a betting platform. That shows the level of public and official scrutiny.
And this extends to online platforms, too. Social media?
Absolutely. Public pressure is a factor. The High Court specifically told platforms like Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, they need to remove gambling ads targeting Bangladeshis. They're making the platforms responsible for policing it.
So let's try to summarize the core finding here for you, the listener. What we have in Bangladesh is this bizarre mix. Incredible high market potential on one side.
Huge potential, yes.
But on the other side, arguably one of the most actively hostile, comprehensive, and technologically enforced legal crackdowns anywhere in the world. This isn't just a ban on paper. It's an active campaign to strangle operations financially and technologically.
Which brings us back to that critical warning, the .75 score. The risks are astronomical precisely because there's no ambiguity left, and the penalties are now criminal, personal, and severe.
So spelling out those risks for different players. For operators?
For operators, it's straightforward. Criminal charges under the 2025 ordinance, real jail time, and guaranteed financial loss. The analysis puts the ROI at basically minus 100%. It's financial suicide.
And it's not just the company, right? What about the people running it, the executives?
Personal risk, huge personal risk, personal criminal liability. And critically, Bangladesh has extradition treaties with key countries like the UK, India.
Meaning a director sitting in London could theoretically be extradited.
If found to be running or directing operations targeting Bangladesh, yes, that's a genuine risk they face. Prison time in Bangladesh.
And even lower down the chain, affiliates, payment agents.
They're explicitly named and targeted for prosecution under the 2025 law. No one involved is safe. The final takeaway, the stark message from the analysis is this. There is zero regulatory uncertainty left to try and exploit. It's gone. The law is crystal clear, explicitly against online gambling, and it's backed by serious jail time and really active, sophisticated enforcement. The advice is unequivocal. Do not enter this market, period.
That is about as clear and stark as it gets. Astronomical potential rendered completely irrelevant by an absolute, actively enforced legal wall. Thanks for breaking down such a complex and, frankly, quite alarming report for us.
It's a unique situation, that's for sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
Now, despite all this, the report acknowledges that some international operators are still trying to serve this shadow market, presumably believing they can somehow get around these blocks. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Given these extreme penalties, the active MFS agent crackdown, the whole 9 yards, what possible future steps could these remaining operators even try to bypass this payment blockade? And maybe more importantly, how long could any workaround possibly last before they face inevitable, catastrophic losses?
That's the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? With very high stakes.
Indeed. For the full text of this Bangladesh report and analyses of many other countries detailing market risks and opportunities, you can visit the source provider's website. That's gamblingdatabases.com. And that wraps up this deep dive. We'll talk to you next time.